Hello, this is Akiko Sudano at StampinInTheMeadows.com in cold but sunny Downingtown, Pennsylvania. And thank you so much for joining me today. And, oh, okay, good. Thank you so much for joining me today. And I'm going to be making a card using this this new bundle from the new catalog called Artfully Layered. And it's got a cling stamp set with a lot of coordinating dies. And this is just such a really fun set. Thank you so much for joining me, Amy. And thank you, Debbie, for joining me. And Karen, thank you so much for joining me today. And if you saw my post earlier, I used this bundle for my card today, and I combined it with the pineapple. But today it's going to be, this for my live, I'm doing something a little bit different. I am going to be casing one of the cards in the catalog. And this is page 32 of the mini catalog. And I'm going to be casing this card right here. And this is this is a different kind of this is a different kind of card. It uses a different style and design and stuff, but I love the layering of the strips in there. And then it uses some stamping on the designer series paper to create the background. So let me go ahead and get started and let me show you. The Artfully Composed designer series paper is the designer series paper that comes with the suite, and it's got a lot of designs that coordinate with the stamp set and the dies. And this is one of the papers that's in this pretty stamp set. And then what they did was they stamped on top of the thing. And here's a sample that you can see where they stamped on top of the designs of the paper, and they created a new design. And I thought that was fun, and so I wanted to go ahead and try that for my card today. So let me get a piece of background paper, because a lot of this is going to be going off the card. It was different. One of the things I find about this particular card is that it uses a lot of different techniques, and it's a different style than that which I'm used to using. So this is one of the stamps in the stamp set, and it's got, the outline of the leaf and everything. So I'm going to stamp I think this is Just Jade, and I'm going to stamp those, the outline over those in Old Olive ink. So that's what I used on this one. And so I'm going to use the Old Olive ink and move these tools aside and ink this up. And one of the things as I was doing this, and I saw that was being done, I was doing this and I thought, oh my gosh, this is a cling stamp. How am I going to be able to see through this in order to know exactly where to stamp it? And I thought, oh, maybe I need to pull out my Stamp-A-Majig. But then I went ahead and I took this panel and tried it, and I really like the way it doesn't line up. It kind of, you do your best to kind of line things up so that you've got things, and that's fairly easy to do. And then it kind of gives you a little bit off-centered things, which is really kind of nice. And it's it's really, it keeps with the casualness of the tropical foliage here. So I'm looking at the point on this leaf, and first I want to kind of make sure that my angles are right, and then I just kind of line up those points and just scooch it up just a little bit, and then stamp down, and it's fine. And this, you can see here, I went off a little bit here, I went in a little bit, so it's not perfectly lined up, but it is really fine. It really looks well with the style of this paper and with the kind of outdoor. So outdoor feel for the stamp. So I'm doing this. This is, again, Old Olive ink, and I'm going to, this time I'm going to line up the bottoms of the leaves and try to see if I'm kind of in the right angle and kind of go over it a little bit more, and then push down, and see I'm really pleased with the way this looks. Now there's one other one in the corner here. Now this is going to be a little bit because most of that design is off the paper, but I want to go ahead and give it some stuff anyway, and I can't really tell which of these, part of that needs to be inked up a little bit better. Can't really tell exactly where that goes, so I'm going to go ahead and kind of figure out that maybe it's down here on the bottom, and see how that works out. So that's mostly, and even that's like really wildly off, but that looks okay too. So next, I'm going to do these leaves, which I don't think those are Old Olive. I think that those are Pear Pizzazz. And I'm going to do the outlines using Evening Evergreen ink. But first, I'm going to clean up my stamp a little bit with my cleaner there, and pull out my Evening Evergreen ink. And then just do the same thing on the corners here. First, I want to just make sure that I get the stamp inked up pretty well, and then try to line up the corners and just go over a little bit and stamp that down. And that I'm really pleased with the way this looks. And do the same thing here with this sleeve and go down like that. And this one is way off too, but that's it works. I was really pleased with the way it works. It has a very casual feel to it, and because I was at first a little concerned about it being not lined up exactly, and that is fine. So then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp the insides of these leaves with mint macaron ink. And so I have my ink pad right here, and I'm going to use this large stamp from this large leaf stamp from the stamp set. Ink that up. Do it this way, and then do the same thing. Line it up with the bottoms here, and then kind of cut. See if it's, yeah, I think that's a good angle. See if see if it covers it, and I think that's good enough. And then push down and get a good stamp. And that's it. It really gives, it brings, I think, more depth to this designer series paper by adding the stamping. And then I'm going to go ahead and do this one. In my sample, I used Pear Pizzazz ink, and I felt like that was just a little too dark. So I decided that for the one on my card today, I'm going to just use mint macaron. And press it down. And then do these last two sections. And then this little guy up here. So I just need to ink up the top here. And I think that these leaves are probably these two leaves, so I'll try to put these like that and see how that looks. And that's good enough. And so there's my stamped designer series paper, and that will be the background of for the card that I make today. And it really kind of makes a mess, so I wanted to make sure that I had another piece of paper for stamping it on there. And then I'm going to take this and I'm going to adhere this to the front of a Just Jade card base, and I'm going to do that with liquid glue and just cover it up. Come on. And I've cut this panel is cut to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, so it's going to cover the card base. And I think one of the things that I forgot to say about this is that you've got this background writing, and on here it's a script, and you just want to make sure that you have this set up so that it's not upside down. That's really the biggest, I think, the biggest thing that you want to be careful about here. And I think this is just a smidge small, so it's gonna be fine, but just need to scooch it around a bit there before giving it a good press. Okay, that's good. So this is my card base. Okay, let's see here. I'm going to move this scratch paper away, because then one of the papers that comes in this suite is a beautiful set of vellum that has printed designs on it, and this is printed in script. Hi Chris, thank you so much for joining me. This is printed in script, and it's all white vellum, but it's got some designs that are printed in black or printed in white, and it's really pretty. There's also one of the designs that is a kind of a map design, and I'm going to check, since this is writing, make sure that it's right side up, and I'm going to put the Stampin' seal just on the bottom here, and I'm going to adhere this to the left side of the card, kind of in the middle, all the way to the edge here. There, and it's so that's working. And then this is something else that I'm added. What I did was I took a piece of Calypso coral, and one of the dies that's in the set is this rickrack or pinked zigzag stitched die, edging die. And so I'm going to put this one kind of right in the middle here on the bottom, and I'm going to adhere this with more stamping seal, and I'm going to just butt that right up against the vellum, kind of in the center-ish here, there. And then one of the other dies that I did here, and I don't know if you can see it very well, is a die that cuts out this series of squares. And there's two dies in this set. This is the one that I used, and then there's this one as well, and this one also kind of cuts out. It leaves the basic outline of your thing, but it makes cuts in the paper. And so what I did was I took this small die, and I took this strip of Evening Evergreen, and I cut it, and I moved it and cut it and moved it and cut it and moved it and cut it. Did that over and over again. Now, one of the things that you'll notice if you do more than one die cut on a piece of paper is that it's going to end up flattening that die cut. And Oh, I had a piece of, and so what I did after I finished doing all of the die cuts to make the design go all the way across, I went ahead and I took this strip and I put it in my die cutting machine in between the plates without any dies, so that would flatten everything. And so I'm going to put this right next to here so that I have a strip of evening evergreen cardstock, and it has the texture from the die cutting. And I'm going to just put this on kind of in between these so that some of the actually kind of do it on the kind of on the bottomish portion here, so that I've got just a little bit of the Calypso coral with the pinked edge sticking through. And then I'm going to take a piece of Bumblebee, and I'm going to take this little this stamp, which also has some script on it, and I'm going to ink this up with Bumblebee ink and get a tone on tone image to add texture to this piece of DSP. So it's like I've got so many different pieces of DSP that have, not DSP, I've got so many different pieces of cardstock that have a texture to them. And again, this one is writing, so you want to make sure that it's not upside down. I think this is the top, so you can always stamp it first and then see, oh, it is, I made it upside down. I think this first thing is an S, so I want to stamp that, get it nice and inked, and then stamp it, and just I'm going to stamp this twice so that I can get a text all the way across. And just the stamping gives a little bit of texture to the paper so that it's a little bit different. And you have the tone on tone, so it's not too much, but it does give you a little bit of texture. And I think what I want to do is I want to, I'm always bad about this, but I want to go ahead and make a, I'm going to put it like this right about here, and I'm going to go ahead and cut a little banner on here. And I'm not very good about this, but I'm going to go ahead and use this technique and try to make a fishtail banner here, just to give it something a little bit different. And hopefully it's not too cockeyed. It's all right. That's good. And then I'm going to stick this on, and I'm going to stick this on the evening evergreen, and I will stick it on with, with a little bit more Stampin' Seal. Just put that on there. And then put it up here. So I have different strips of different, just want to make sure that's kind of straight. Different strips with different degrees of texture on it. Now, then the next thing I'm going to do is put this piece of, this is that new white ribbon, and it's the Frayed Ribbon, and it is just so pretty. It's got a nice shimmer to it, and I'm going to put that on top like that. I think I'm going to maybe a little bit less, so that this is sticking out a little bit more, so you can see all of the different elements in there. But I'm going to put this one on with glue dots. I think that will be easier, and I won't be stretching the ribbon if I use glue dots for that. Put several pieces on here. And it just wanted to be straight. Oops, where did it go? There it is. It's still back on the roll. There we go. There. And then, come on. Don't stick to my finger. There we go. And this is, I was really pleased at how much shimmer is in this this ribbon. So I'll put it on here, press it down good on the glue dots, and then I'll use my paper snips and trim the edge so that it's even with the edge of the cards. Yeah, the edge of the card. There, that's good enough. That looks good. All right. Okay. So then, that's that. So now all I need to do is put together the label. And this is one of the areas where I decided I would change up from the design of the card. I am going, the card in the catalog. I am going to use the same sentiment. That's such a sweet sentiment, sending all the hugs. And I've got a panel of basic white here, and I'm going to ink this up in Evening Evergreen. And I'm going to stamp the sentiment kind of towards the bottom of the panel here. There. Sending all the hugs. I love that sentiment. It's like a hugs kind of sentiment, but it's also got a nice and light, a very casual feel to it. I don't know if it's because of the font or if it's because of the adding the sending and saying all the hugs. So you could use this for somebody that needs encouragement, or just to even say hello to somebody. I think it's a nice thing. And I'm going to clean off this stamp again, and I think there's still a little more dark here. And I want to stamp this leaf again, but I want to stamp this in mint macaron, and I want to stamp this off so that I can get a first of all I want to make sure that I get the fat part of the widest part of the sentiment, so that it kind of goes across the leaves here. But I also want to get a light impression. So I'm going to ink it up, and I'm going to stamp it off twice, and using mint macaron so that I can get, and I want to make, like I said, I want to make sure I cover all of the, words in the sentiment. So I just want it a little bit light. There. And the reason I stamped it off a couple of times is I wanted to make sure that you could see the lettering, you could see the sentiment, that you had enough contrast there. That's a great one, isn't it, Karen? That you can see the sentiment through the design there. The next thing I want to do is I want to get my this sentiment stamp again, and I want to stamp this. I forgot which was the top here. I think that's the top. This is the long straight edge with the curves are on the bottom. I'm going to do this, stamp this in Bumblebee. I think this is Bumblebee ink, so that this will kind of go around the, find my bumblebee ink, will kind of go around the sentiment, the evening evergreen sentiment, and on the die cut. So I can move this up here and stamp it there. And then stamp this one down here underneath it. I'm going to stamp this right here on the side. And then on the top. I think that's good enough. And there'll be a couple of areas that don't have the sentiment, but I think that's going to be fine. And then I'm going to use the die, the leaf die, to cut the sentiment out. Now I want to make sure that I have all the words. So this is going to end up, because the way I stamp this, it's a little bit off, but I want to make sure that I get as much of the words as I can. The sentiment is the important thing here. So if I end up cutting off part of the leaf, that's going to end up having to be the way it goes. But I'm going to stick some, stick that up there, stick my thing up there. So this is my leaf is like way up here, and I'm moving this way down here. So this is going to end up being off. And I'm going to take this over to my die cutting machine and cut this out. And I'll be right back with this, and we'll see how this sentiment looks. I hope you guys are all having a great Sunday. And I guess for some people, it's a long weekend. And there, I think that's okay, because basically I wanted to just kind of put some designs around there so that it would show up. Okay, so that's good. And so I'm going to put this I'm going to put this on here, but then I also used this die, and I had previously cut some leaves out of mint macaron, and I will put this like underneath it, like put it there, or put it up on top. I think you could do it either way. I'm going to put it down this way, and then the mint macaron will contrast with the calypso coral and the evening evergreen, and it'll show up, I think, a little bit better. The nice thing also about stamping like this is that you don't have to worry so much about getting it straight, because it's gonna be the sentiment. You can twist the leaf any which way, and as long as your sentiment shows up straight on your card, you're going to be fine. So I'm going to adhere this to the back with a couple of glue dots. Stick this one here, stick it down, and then stick another glue dot, I think, right under this section here. So that's going to keep the layered leaves together like this. And then I am going to, used the linen ribbon, and I made a linen thread, and I made a bow, kind of a loopy bow, and I'm going to get another glue dot and stick that on the loopy bow, use that to stick the loopy bow on the leaf. Kind of crumble this up. There we go. Come on, glue dot. Stick that on the back of the thread and stick that on. I think we'll put it something like that, and so we'll stick this on like that so the tails are going off. There we go. Now, the nice thing about, like I said, you just want to make sure that your sentiment is lined up evenly on the card once you get it, and then the leaf can be like this, or the leaf can go at any angle there. So I'm going to adhere this with dimensionals, and here's my dimensionals, and I want to put dimensionals, since I've got this layered, I want to make sure I've got dimensionals on the top here where it's going to hit the paper. Actually, if I stick my finger right there, I can, oh, that's I'm pretty much covered there. Good. And then I want to stick some down in this area down here. So stick one down here and then down. Don't know how far up I can go. Let's see here. Yeah, I can stick one on the point here too. Then I think I want to stick one over here. Let's see here. Where's that gonna go? That is gonna go right on top of my ribbon, so I don't think I want to do that. But you know what? I could stick another glue dot right under there. Stick a glue dot that connects both of those, and then that'll give me a little bit more adhesion to the ribbon. And keep that down. Maybe I can kind of stretch this out a little bit. There we go. Let's see. I want to stick one more in. Yeah. One more little, actually I might just cut this to make it a little skinnier piece so that I can get another piece right under here. In here to give a little bit more support to this area right here. So just do a little piece there. Okay. So now pull the covers off. Hopefully that'll be good. And then put this on and keep my sentiment straight. There. Okay, there. And then to finish off the front, there's all these faux sea glass shapes, and I think these are just so pretty. And I'm going to put some on the top and use the small ones. I'm going to use the small ones, put them around, and use the and I'm going to use some of these, the old olive ones too. Put this one, oh, I'm going to put this one right here. That'll be right by the sentiment. 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to add some more. So this is, come on. right here. And let's use one of the bigger ones up here. So that gives me 5. And that's good. So that's the card front. So that's kind of different. And then for the inside of the card, I have another strip of paper that I cut that I did the same thing to. And I'm going to take this, and I have a basic white panel here. And what I'm going to do with this panel first is I'm going to stamp the bumblebee sentiment in the corner here. I can never, the long straight side is the top, and I'm going to just stamp it on here and have it kind of be coming off the edge like that. Yeah, that's right. Okay, there we go. Some of these words are not English, and so it makes it hard for me to see exactly what's going on. And then I have another one of these die-cut leaves, and I'm going to take this and kind of adhere this over the sentiment, and I'm going to put that on with liquid glue and put it on over the side here, hopefully. I think I've been doing more cards, so my liquid glue skills are getting better. Okay, there we go. Just a little bit, little dots. And you do have lots of big areas that you can put it on with. That'll take it pretty well. And just put my liquid glue on. Not sure how far this is going to go on, but I do want to keep it, make sure that it's going to stay. This definitely would have been another good thing to use the adhesive sheets for. And I'll take this and put this on, and I just want to kind of overlap the stamping, so that you've got the stamping and the leaf. Got the designs from that. And then I'm going to use paper snips to cut off the excess of the die cut here. Okay, so does that look? Yeah, that looks good. And then I will and yeah, that looks right. Have to be so careful with the writing on this. I'm going to put this strip of designer series paper, and this is a piece that I cut off of the first sample that I tried with the stamping on designer series paper technique, and put that on the bottom so that you've got all the tropical leaves there. Covering that, press that on good, and trim the bottom off of this strip. I've got glue on my scissors. So everything needs to be cleaned up. So there's the inside panel. And there are lots of pretty stamps that you can use to decorate the inside if you want. And I just thought it would be pretty to pick up that die cut and use some Stampin' Seal to adhere the inside panel to the inside of the card. Move this over and then open the card. Okay, good. Then put my inside panel on the card. Here, like that. I think that's good. Yeah. There we go. So that's the inside of the card. That's kind of pretty with the die cut leaf. And then this is the outside of the card. So thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you like the card. And definitely check out the catalog, and feel free to case things in the catalog and change it up, make it your own, because there's so many fun things in the new catalog and so much wonderful inspiration that you can find in the cards there. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a great week, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.